Good to see you as always. We are joined as always by Greg Engert, beer director for the neighborhood restaurant group of Food and Wine Sommelier of the Year. The group includes Eat Bar and Tallulah in Arlington, also Iron Gate and GBD in DuPont Circle. Greg, it is always good to see you.
Great to see you too, Brennan.
What is on tap this week?
So this week we have a beer from our friends at Off Color Brewing in Chicago. They are, we brewed a beer with them at Blue Jacket too, John Laffler and Dave Bleitner, two guys who interned at Metropolitan Brewing in Chicago in 2008, struck up a lifelong friendship now, and then plan to one day reconvene to start their own brewery. John worked at Goose Island, Dave at Two Brothers, and then they came together to start Off Color. I think we may have talked about Troublesome from them before in the past, which is their Goza. But one of the things that Off Color does so very well is they resuscitate kind of long-lost historic styles of beer. So with Troublesome, they made a Goza, which we've talked about on the show plenty of times. And with Scurry here, they've made a style that you'd be hard-pressed to find anywhere. This is one of those, just when you think the American brewers have revived every style under the sun, Cote Booser is one that you don't hear of often. So this is their version of Cote Booser, which is basically a 5.3% ale, brewed with oats, brewed with honey, and brewed with molasses. So really kind of a nice, grainy, malty beer with some not nearly the sweetness you'd expect. Let's put it that way. It's really not sweet at all.
And instead of Church Key or Blue Jacket, we are at Birch and Barley today, which is what you're hearing in the background. The guys are, I mean, they don't open for hours, but the guys are very busy preparing tasty morsels for tonight's
They're actually butchering
guests.
a full pig right now.
Oh, okay.
That's what they do on Wednesdays. So yeah, you get that cool like oats. It smells like rolled oats, that toasted kind of malt character.
I like that.
It's kind of it's a great answer for people looking for a brown ale, or for somebody looking for a kind of lighter, more refreshing dark lager or a dark stout or porter of some sort. Only 5.3%. The maple syrup, the honey and the molasses that are added give you the perception of sweetness, but in fact, all of that sugar really gets fermented out by the yeast, so it finishes with a nice semi-dry character. It's effervescent in the finish. The oats really come through nicely on the palate. The style of beer is Cote Booser. This is a long-lost style of German beer, originally found in the city, in and around the city of Cottbus, which is about 80 miles southeast of Berlin in Germany. And this is a German Slavic region. The people there are known as the Sorbs, and they were used to brewing beer with whatever kind of sugar source they could find. So even as the rest of Germany turned over to the Reinheitsgebot, which said that all beer had to be made out of barley, water, hops, don't use rye or wheat or oats or other sugars, and then eventually they allowed you to use yeast once they figured out what it was. This little enclave kept doing it the way they used to in the old days, and that would be, instead of barley, they had oats nearby, they would use oats. To get the alcohol and fermentation up, they would use honey and molasses. So
these guys have a sense of humor I like too. It says, on the label, it says beer brewed with honey, molasses, and oats. And then the secret ingredients here are honey, molasses, and oats. So
John Laffler is one of the funniest guys I know, and he's something else. We did when we brewed together at Blue Jacket. I was doing an Instagram takeover day with Local Palate, which is a magazine down in South Carolina. So throughout the day, I was kind of I was doing Instagram pictures and details about what was happening with our brew day, and John just happened to be there brewing with us. So I left my phone out for a minute without looking at it, and he took it and he did one of his own Instagram feeds for me, and all it was a picture of like an otter. I think just like random otter on there.
Well, at least, he didn't take your phone into the men's room.
That's true.
To me, and you can tell me if I'm way off here, the taste, if you sort of separate the honey out, to me is a bit like a steamed lager.
Yeah, for sure, actually.
Right? Okay.
And interestingly enough, I believe this is an ale yeast, but fermented cold. Steam lagers are, lager yeast fermented warm. Either way, you get a kind of clean, crisp, mildly ester fruity quality from the yeast. But yeah, it has that kind of note to it. And yeah, in like Anchor Steam and stuff, the malt character has just that. It's a kind of toffee toast crispness to it.
And I like those types of lagers, and this is with that molasses and honey. It's really
delicious.
Good. What would you pair it with?
Well, this is like one of those beers that you could pair with absolutely anything. I always say, yeah, sear. That's why I always say that, dark lagers, dunkels, are among the best beers in the world to pair with just about anything. Because yeah, you've got bready notes here. You've got that toasted quality for anything that's seared, anything that's roasted. So you could do this with roast chicken. You could do it with anything that's fried. So I'm thinking fried chicken. How good would that be with some fried chicken? Or baked macaroni and cheese would be fantastic. Even a lightly seared crab cake would work. So you can run the gamut of your protein or your produce, and it really will do a lot of great things. And I can also see, watching football on a Sunday, drinking this with your chili. That'd be fantastic. So nachos, yeah, hell yeah, it'd be great.
Fantastic. Greg, thank you as always.
Thank you.
Everyone, always please do drink responsibly, and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another beer of the week.